Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Diallo back with another reacts on the channel. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. We are back with more reacts. I have a video here today. I know my voice is shot, but that's perfectly fine. Forget any of y'all that say that about my voice being shot. But what DreamWorks understands about evil that Disney doesn't. This could be fire. I want to see what it's like, so let's lock in and see what it's about. Live on Twitch, React Wednesdays. Come by on React Wednesdays if you want to see it live. Let's go ahead and see what this video is about, though.
For a long time, Disney was on top of the villain game. This is the studio that gave us hardcore bad guys like Scar and Maleficent, along with disturbingly real ones like Judge Frollo. But somewhere along the way, modern Disney started losing that edge.
Disney started
On the
shit.
other hand, DreamWorks has been charging ahead by successfully experimenting with creative villain profiles. So today, let's break down what DreamWorks understands about evil that Disney doesn't.
Just can't
and
get
thank
behind
you to War
on.
Thunder for sponsoring this video.
Boy, I was about to shut you down, bro. Sorry, though.
What
I just hate ads.
I did to make you proud.
Literally, Tai Lung.
When it comes to tragic villains, one has to strike a delicate balance. The audience needs to understand their pain, but the
Tai Lung
movie
was
still
good.
has to make it
Tai
clear
Lung
that
was
their
good.
actions are
Really good
wrong.
villain.
And
Really
this
good
is
villain.
where DreamWorks really knows what it's doing. Take Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda. As a baby, he was abandoned at the Jade Palace, so his story already starts on a sad note. This is the same place that Master Shifu was once abandoned too, so naturally he wants to give Tai Lung the same love and guidance Oogway once gave him. The only difference is that Shifu unintentionally raises him with the weight of expectations. He sees Tai Lung's natural talent for Kung Fu and starts building his entire identity around.
And when you say that, it only makes it more believable because, like, Tai Lung, for example, bro was abandoned as a child. And like he just said, Shifu was abandoned too. They found that same comfortability in each other. Shifu raised him as a son, but when he got betrayed, he lost all that. He could not believe that Shifu did not see him as a dragon warrior or as someone that can, like, precede Oogway or whatever. Like, I haven't seen the first one in forever, but, like, it's wild because Tai Lung could have been good, but he got betrayed. He felt like he was dismissed. It was good, though. And that is relatable to a lot of adults.
Greatness. And to be fair, can you even blame the guy for thinking he was meant to be the Dragon Warrior?
That's what I'm saying.
Literally
Can you
named
even
him
blame him?
So Tai Lung works his whole life towards that goal, but things don't go the way he planned.
You always knew. But when Oogway said otherwise, what did you do?
That
You
silence
listened.
is what
You
breaks
agreed.
Tai Lung. Of
He didn't say
course,
shit.
laying waste to the Valley of
Disney
Peace
would've had the
isn't
kid abandoned
exactly
at
a
a
healthy
54
coping mechanism, so he's
54-story
not
castle,
absolved of
literally.
that. But the tragedy is that Tai Lung's downfall didn't come out of nowhere.
Literally.
Who filled my head with dreams? Who drove me to train until
Oh
my
my
bones
gosh,
cracked?
you
Shifu
did.
was the one who unintentionally made him believe his worth depended on becoming the Dragon Warrior. So when
was
he
Shifu.
loses the
It was
title,
Shifu.
Tai Lung feels lost and
Yes.
untethered, left without any purpose in life. And he's not the only Kung Fu Panda villain who's lost.
Shin.
Happiness taken.
Literally, Shin was like that too.
Take mine.
While Tai Lung's
was like
tragedy
that
comes
too.
from being misled by someone who loved him, Shen's tragedy is more self-inflicted. After hearing a prophecy that a warrior in black and white would defeat him, Shen panics and orders the massacre of the
everybody.
Pandas.
Yes.
This, of course, sets the prophecy in motion.
Yes.
So when Shen's parents find out what he's done, they banish him.
disowned
And instead
him.
of reflecting on why they were horrified, Shen convinces himself that they never loved him. That belief becomes the hole he spends the rest of his life trying to fill.
Now Shin, look, I'm probably gonna pause a lot because I like these villains, but Shin, I like Shin a lot because, like dude's saying, they're like two sides of the same coin. Shin did not feel loved, but fucking Tai Lung was loved then not. Like, bro, Shin was loved from the beginning, but that prophecy threw him. Instantly went to go kill those pandas and did not think twice. He said, forget my family, forget all that stuff that they have done for me. When I heard that prophecy and I'm about to be king, I'm going to literally die from pandas, or some warrior in black and white is going to kill me. Oh yeah, fuck that. We killing everybody black and white. Pause though.
with weapons and plans to conquer China, which is also one of the 10 nations you can access in this video sponsor. Then we see how broken he really is when he confronts Poe.
How did you find peace? I took away your parents.
Literally.
Everything.
Shen spends his life in turmoil trying to avoid being defeated by a warrior in black and white, only to become the reason that warrior exists in the first place.
Exactly.
It's only when the cannon is about to fall onto Shen that he finally looks at peace, right before he dies. In the end, DreamWorks made us feel something for a genocidal peacock.
You felt
so you'd think Disney would have no trouble pulling off a successful tragic villain. Sadly, that isn't the case.
My entire family.
Oh my gosh.
Destroyed by.
Wish was the worst Disney movie ever to be produced by Disney, which makes me think the movie is AI and their first attempt at AI. Everything felt so lifeless. The colors was lifeless. The story was lifeless. The villain was lifeless. The main character was lifeless. I barely remember the movie. I just remember a star in her, in him, in some corny ass song he sung. That's about it.
Selfish, greedy thieves.
Right off the bat, King Magnifico from Wish has the foundation to be a compelling and tragic villain. After losing his family and home, he understood how selfishness can destroy you. So he built the Kingdom of Roses as a haven for anyone in exchange for a wish. Now, Disney had a great opportunity to start Magnifico's story as a benevolent ruler who genuinely wanted to protect people from the kind of loss he experienced. Over time, that fear could have turned into control, making him want to take everyone's wishes for himself. Unfortunately, the studio doesn't do any of that. The filmmakers do mention his past, but it never really shapes the story in a meaningful way. Instead of making Magnifico gradually descend into paranoia, Disney takes the easier route.
A staff.
A staff that makes him crazy.
Even the night will bow to my command.
Once the evil book enters the picture, Magnifico's downfall feels rushed, like the writers just needed to make him more evil somehow. He goes from charming ruler with suspicious control issues to deranged, narcissistic dictator way too fast. Now, it's not that the evil book concept couldn't work. It would have felt more impactful if Magnifico had turned to the forbidden magic out of desperation after Asha united the people against him instead.
And then
that
he grabbed
we would
the
see a
staff
man
to use
so
it.
terrified of losing control that he destroys himself trying to keep everyone safe. Disney therefore had the potential to make King Magnifico a tragic protector whose fear turns him into a tyrant. Instead, the studio gave us a poorly written, one-dimensional character, and he's not the only Disney villain who's fallen prey to poor writing.
Who else does he have?
You've been
Raya and the Last Dragon. Yep.
Some villains aren't meant to be straightforward. They're supposed to be complicated people whose villainy comes from the belief that they're doing the right thing. And when it comes to such complex villains, writing can make or break that character. And that's where Disney failed Namari from Raya and the Last Dragon. The writers clearly want her to be a conflicted antagonist and a parallel to Raya since they're both daughters of powerful leaders. Unfortunately, Disney never develops her character enough to make a real impact.
And I did like Raya and the Last Dragon. I thought it was good.
Friends, but I have to do what's right for Faye.
From the beginning, Namari is the one who betrays Raya's friendship. She gains Raya's trust and uses it to steal the dragon gem for her tribe, Faye. This sets off the chain reaction that breaks the gem and releases the drone that turns Raya's father to stone. So naturally, Raya never trusts her again. The movie later reveals that Namari's actions come from wanting to protect Fang since its people are struggling due to limited resources. This could have been a good motivation for Namari's actions, but we don't see any of her inner conflict for most of the film.
We never see the other side.
She's never shown any accountability for her actions. Even after she shoots Sisu, Namari still has the gall to blame someone else.
Do whatever you want, but you're as much to blame for Sisu's death as I am.
Girl, you were the one who brought the crossbow in the first place.
What? Did I just hear her correctly? I muted myself on accident. Did I hear her correctly? That's why I have not seen this movie in ages. You're just as much to blame for Sisu's death as I am. Bitch, are you stupid? Like he just said, you held the crossbow and shot her. I can't remember how the whole story went. But if she's fighting to protect her area, and we don't see our conflict in between, there was no reason for her to shoot Sisu. What's the reason? Because I don't remember in between us seeing her turmoil with her family or her tribe, because y'all didn't want the pieces to get back or whatever the fuck and form the orb and bring the dragons back. Ain't that the whole premise? Fuse the orb and all the dragons come back?
The entire film is about trust, so
Yeah.
Disney tried to give us an ending where Raya trusts Namari, which seems insane to me, because Namari never did anything to earn it. In fact, she never even apologizes for any of the horrible
I didn't
things
think
she's
she
done.
did.
Yet
I didn't think she
Raya
apologized.
still hands her the gem piece after
To trust
spending the
her.
entire film not trusting her.
Like,
So this
Who
ending
wrote
just feels
that?
rushed and forced. It's basically the filmmakers projecting a toxic message that you should just forgive people
yeah,
even if they
that
don't
even
deserve
do
it.
you wrong.
On the flip
No.
side, DreamWorks gave us a layered villain with Ramesses from The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, the
How'd you
Prince
like
of
your
Egypt.
face carved on
You
a
know what's
wall?
funny?
Someday, yes. How
I've
about
never
now?
seen Prince of Egypt.
Moses' brother. We see them laugh and cause trouble together, which already humanizes Ramesses.
Yep.
The two brothers clearly love each other, which only makes the tragedy of what comes later so
Moses,
much
yeah.
stronger.
My people. And I can no longer hide in the desert while they suffer. At your hands.
Ramesses is devastated when he realizes he wasn't the reason Moses came back. But what
Wow.
saddens him even more is what his brother asks of him, knowing it goes against everything he was taught to believe.
But one weak link can break the chain of a mighty dynasty.
That line becomes the cage
Wow.
Ramesses spends the rest of the film trapped
I'm gonna need to
inside.
watch this. I've
he
never
was
seen
raised
this
to believe
before.
that being soft and merciful is weakness. So the idea of freeing the Hebrews is unacceptable to him, as he thinks it will make him the weak link his father always thought him to be.
I will not be the weak link.
And that's why, even though he still loves Moses, he chooses his pride and legacy over brotherhood, which eventually becomes his downfall. That is the difference between Ramesses
Yeah.
and Namari.
That's-
DreamWorks therefore
that's
proved
an
that he knows how to
actual
do villains with detailed
betrayal
and
of
emotional
trust.
backstories.
Yes.
But the studio also
That's
knows how to give us
trust.
villains who are just evil for the fun of it.
Evil for the fun.
It's so cute how you think that would
Work on me.
Don't you know I'm dead inside?
Don't
Jack
you know
Horner
I'm dead
from Puss in
inside?
Boots: The Last Wish is a prime example
Oh my
of a
gosh,
villain who
Jack
woke up and
Horner. This movie was so fucking fire. Disney. I mean, I said Disney. Puss in Boots in The Last Wish. Oh my gosh. The animation, top tier. The villain, death, top tier. Jack Horner, funny as fuck. The bears, the three golden bears, and I said three golden bears. What are they called? The three bears and Goldilocks, I guess. They were also good too, because their whole thing was family, and she realized that they are her family at the end. These are good stories altogether. Jack Horner was just a villain till the end. Don't you know I'm dead inside? Because what? Thought that was going to work?
chose violence for no real reason. The man grew up with, and I quote,
I love to be a
loving
movie
parents,
villain. It seems so
stability,
fun
and
to
a
just be mean
mansion.
for absolutely
so,
no reason.
No,
Bro,
we
he's
can't
mean
blame
for
this
no
one on
reason.
childhood trauma.
Mean
In a
for
movie
nothing.
where everyone else
Like,
wants the
he's
wishing
mean
star
for
for
nothing.
emotional reasons, Jack wants to use it to harness all the
Like,
magic in the world.
in the world.
He doesn't care
And
about
look at the cricket.
anyone
The
but
cricket said,
himself, including the
Jack,
people who work
you're
for him.
actually
This guy
crazy.
decides to be so
I don't know what I'm gonna do
unapologetically
and
himself that
and kick
even
him
the
off.
literal
Look at him, look at him.
bug gives up on him.
You're an irredeemable monster!
What took you so long, idiot?
Yeah, that tracks. I mean, this guy would shoot a puppy in the
Oh
face
my
without blinking.
gosh.
So it's safe to say he's pure evil.
He's
What
evil
did I
as
do
fuck.
to deserve this?
Oh,
I
wait.
mean, what specifically?
I mean, like, what specifically?
Honestly, 10 out of 10 for self-awareness. When it comes to villains like Jack Horner, DreamWorks realized that sometimes it's enough to just make an evil character wildly entertaining. That's why every scene with Jack leaves you wanting
It
more.
was funny as hell,
Unfortunately,
every
the same
scene.
can't really be said
Oh
for
my
Disney's
gosh.
Prince Hans from
Hans.
Frozen.
Hated him.
If only
Bad
there was
build,
someone
bro.
out
His
there who
build was
loved you.
terrible.
Now,
His
to be
build was
fair, the
terrible.
twist was surprising, mostly because it doesn't make any sense, but after the shock wears off, Hans feels
was
more
an interesting twist.
underwhelming
I
than
get that.
interesting to me.
Need the
He's
body
supposed
ratio.
to be this
Hit the body
manipulative prince who
ratio
wants to
ridiculous as
rule
fuck,
Arendelle by
bruh.
marrying either Elsa or Anna.
Or Anna.
The writers, however, don't build him up strongly enough before the reveal. For
Yeah.
most of the film, Hans acts like a
He's a good guy.
genuinely decent guy who helps Anna and protects the kingdom while the sisters are away. Not only does he stop Elsa from killing the guards, but he even tries to stop one from shooting her, which makes his plan feel weirdly inconsistent.
Yeah.
I mean, if his entire goal is to take the throne, wouldn't getting Elsa killed make things a whole lot
But that's why he
easier?
shot
Of
the
course,
joint.
one
That's
could
why I
say
think.
he did all that to play the hero, and while
Yeah,
that may
but he
be,
also
his
shot the
character
crystal.
doing a
Maybe that's why he
complete
shot the crystal,
180-degree
for it to just
turn
fall on her
after the
head.
reveal just feels unnatural.
I don't know.
But what I hate most is how he makes the classic villain mistake.
You won't get away with this.
Oh, I already have.
I already have.
Sir, both sisters
Shut
are
up.
still alive. Hans
Shut
gets caught
up.
way too early, and it eventually
Like,
bites
oh
him in
my
the butt.
God.
So while
Punch
he
the
isn't
fuck out of
Disney's
him.
worst villain, Hans is still not particularly memorable. And the frustrating part is
Shut
that
up.
Disney used to be excellent at villains who
Yes,
genuinely
Maleficent.
enjoyed being villains. Take Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, for instance.
She shall prick her finger
Put the bitch to bed. Eat this apple, oh.
and die.
And
As
die.
the mistress of evil,
Actually,
Maleficent had an unreal
that
screen
was,
presence. She literally cursed a baby because she wasn't invited to the christening. That's a level of pettiness I aspire to have.
From
Old
Snow White,
Disney
the
understood
apple,
that
sorry.
some villains are memorable because they're
Maleficent
dramatic
was
and
the
just
needle.
fully committed to being bad. But modern Disney has a problem with letting good things be, which is
Yeah.
why it keeps making live-action versions of existing films that absolutely did not need a remake.
Snow
For
White was
instance,
balls.
instead of preserving what made Maleficent work, Disney gave her
Yup,
a tragic
made her a
backstory
tragic
and turned her
backstory
into a
into
misunderstood
someone-
anti-hero. That just takes away from the essence of the original film. So modern Disney seems adamant to ruin what worked for it in the past in today's age.
Thanks for ruining it.
But DreamWorks
Yeah, I don't
is
know
still
why they're
interested in
doing that,
experimenting
though.
with new types
Yeah.
of villain.
Mirror to the heroes. Ooh, okay.
You can see that perfectly
Oh
with Pitch Black and
my
Rise of the Guardians.
gosh, Pitch Black.
is the literal embodiment
Yeah.
of
Rise of the Guardians is such a good movie. If y'all have never seen this movie, you have to. It's I always forget it's DreamWorks because I haven't seen it in ages, or like whenever I do watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is DreamWorks. But this movie absolutely has some good scenes. The writing's good. Jack Frost is a good character. Santa Claus, the fairy, the Tooth Fairy, Sandman. Sandman was my favorite character until he sadly, spoiler alert, passed. Sucked. I was upset. I was pissed at that. And then it all happens at the end, and then you see what happens to him at the end. But nonetheless, y'all need to see Rise of the Guardians. Shit's fire.
fear,
Go to
constantly
movie.
working against the Guardians and everything they represent. Naturally, he resents them because children all over the world believe in them while he remains forgotten and powerless. No one understands what that feels like except for Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Both Jack and Pitch
Man
have spent centuries wandering
had
the world
Puss in
invisible
Boots in
with
shambles
no one
with
to
that
believe
whistle.
in them. For
Had
Jack,
him in
that
shambles
loneliness
with
is
that
even
whistle,
worse
bro.
because he doesn't even remember who he is. So when Pitch looks at Jack, he sees
At
opportunity.
least that's what I think it was. That's probably from the Hunger Games.
What goes together better than cold and dark?
No. He's got a point.
No,
Cold
no.
and dark do
He's got a
sound
point.
like a terrifying combination, like the epitome of seasonal
no.
depression.
He's got a point.
Hitch tries to exploit Jack's feeling of not belonging anywhere, offering to team up, but he doesn't realize that the two of them are different.
They'll believe in both of us. No, they'll
believe in
fear
both of us. Yeah.
And that's not what I want.
Unlike Pitch, Jack doesn't want to rule through fear. Even before the Guardians accept him, Jack spends his time making children laugh and giving them snow days. They
Yeah.
can't see him, but he still chooses to make their lives brighter. In another life, Jack could have become just like him if he had let his resentment about being unseen turn into bitterness.
Bro, no, he does look like a
That's how
pigeon.
mirror villains
He looks
should work.
exactly like a
They
pigeon.
should show what the hero could become
Exactly like
if
a
they
pigeon.
made the wrong choice. Unfortunately, Disney fumbles this trope with Robert Callahan in Big Hero 6.
You took everything
Big Hero
from
6
me
is
when
good,
you sent
but
Abigail
they
into that
kind of
machine.
did fail
Callahan
him.
is
They kind of
revealed
failed
as the twist
Callahan.
villain, driven by
But Callahan
revenge against
could've been
Prey
good.
after
He
his
could've
daughter
been good.
Abigail disappears. In that sense, the writers try to make him a dark reflection of Hero. They're both geniuses who have experienced the grief of losing those they love. The difference is that Hero retreats inward after Tadashi's death, while Callahan becomes consumed by bitterness.
I went in there to save you. That was his mistake.
This scene is supposed to show how far gone Callahan is, but instead of making him feel broken, it makes him feel
That was his
weirdly
mistake.
flat. I mean, Tadashi was his student who died trying to save him. So when
And you're saying that
Callahan
was
reacts
his
so
mistake?
callously, it feels like the writers
Yeah, it
just
doesn't
needed
make
him
no
to sound
sense.
more evil.
Yeah.
It could have worked better if Tadashi's death had actually shaken him and he had felt a brief moment of guilt. Then he could double down anyway because he's too far into his revenge to stop. That would make him feel human and monstrous at the same time. So the biggest issue with Callahan is his weak setup. He doesn't get enough screen time before his supposed death to become memorable, and the film doesn't foreshadow his twist at all. Once again, Disney prioritizes surprise over setup. But while Disney does have incredible villains, especially from its older films, none of them compare to the unstoppable force DreamWorks gave us next.
Death. Oh my. Hey, yo, Bun, what was you just saying? Death himself. Oh my gosh.
Man, that
Death.
will never
Oh
not
my
be on.
gosh.
I never thought a movie about a sword-fighting cat would make me think about my mortality. But then DreamWorks created death in
Look, the reason why this thing was so good is because Puss in Boots is the man that looks death in the eyes or some shit or whatever the fuck he says. Or Puss in Boots is the man who doesn't fear or whatever the hell. When he saw him, he felt fear because he's on his last life, and that is literal death after him. At every corner, every sight, watched him die and waste his lives and play with them. And Death wants him to realize that you are wasting these lives and not understanding that it's bigger than you, dog. Like, you're taking all this shit for granted. If you don't want these lives, I will gladly take them away from you. And he almost did. Bro had an anxiety attack twice in this movie, if not 4 fucking times.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
I just love the smell of fear.
For the
oh
first
my
time,
God,
Puss
Death was on
actually
his
looks
ass,
scared.
dog.
The feline
He was
hero
on
assumes
his
the villain
ass.
is just another bounty hunter.
Like-
but it's only later in the film that Puss realizes death is the physical embodiment of the only
death.
thing he truly fears in life. And with 8 out of his 9 lives already gone, all Puss can do is try to run. Death, however, isn't just chasing Puss because his time is up.
I find the very idea of 9 lives absurd.
That right there is why Death, who's supposed to be a neutral party, comes for our feline hero early. The fact that Puss not only gets more lives than the average being, but also wastes them, really
and
irks
wastes
Death.
them.
And
Like, he
honestly,
wastes
that's fair,
them.
because Puss hasn't exactly been careful with any of his lives.
What's the matter? Lives flashing before your eyes.
When Puss finds out who Death is, he realizes this isn't a battle he can win with his sword skills. Eventually, through Perito and Kitty Softpaws, Puss begins to understand that one life is enough if you live it with people who matter. This realization is the only
Death was
reason
like, what
Death
the
decides
fuck?
to let
Fuck
Puss
you.
live.
I wanted
Once
to fight,
the feline hero
you
began
ass.
to appreciate his last life, Death had no reason to go after him anymore. DreamWorks truly made a one-of-a-kind villain that no studio can compare to, even Disney. I mean, yes, they've got iconic villains like Maleficent, Scar, and Chernabog. But Maleficent gets impaled by a sword, Scar gets eaten alive, and even Chernabog retreats when the sun comes up. DreamWorks therefore gave us a villain who every other villain must meet when their time is up, proving yet again that it understands how to make unique villains better than Disney does. Before you go, a quick reminder that War Thunder's
Fire
limited time
video.
bonus pack is
Fire
available
video.
for new players and
y'all, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, comment, come by on Twitch for React Wednesdays. That shit was fire. My favorite villain out of all of that is Death, Shin, Tai Lung, and then last but not least, what was the other ones that he said? I can't even remember, but they were really good. Y'all take care and be easy out there, y'all. Peace.